All right, welcome back now to the Good Morning Niger show. And yes, if you just join us, you don't miss our top story and our newspaper review. At least we don't give all the necessary information regarding that one as well. And my brother Ezugu Chukwu is still here with me. We see they carry this matter as they go. We talk one. We gave our first conversation this morning and a very, very interesting discussion because this one they affect you. You know, if you talk say they affect you because everybody they chop food. Yes, they affect everybody. And this one about these headers and the farmers situation where they happen and how we take they affect agriculture. Because as it be so, a lot of things, a lot of farmers, when they talk, say that they fear to go farm because they don't know where they go meet, they don't know who they go meet, they don't know the kind of situation where they go meet when they reach there. So how the thing they affect agriculture? And one better individual go follow us this morning. Now, a Greek expert, his name is Sipasi Olalekan. They talk to us on top this level, sustainable agriculture and these headers clash matter. And Ezugu Chukwu go follow me to talk around this interview also. Hello, Oga. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Hello, now good morning for there. How na day?
We dey all right. We dey all right. Oga, okay, so make we just enter this situation as it be because this is a very, very serious matter for the country. We know say a lot of situations on they arise for different parts of the country regarding headers, farmers, back and forth, farm conversation and things like that. And we know say this one they affect agriculture. How you take see them? First of all, make we start. How you take see this whole situation where they happen so?
Well, this situation is actually very pathetic for a country such as Nigeria. I believe, say, for Nigeria, we get everything we need to survive for that country. And the fact say we dey chop meat, no mean say make we dey kill ourselves because of cow. For anywhere, locally, even for Africa, go to East Africa, see how they get these things done. Go to developed countries, see how they get it done. There is no way you should sacrifice human life for cattle to survive. Now, can we live without cattle? It might not be possible. Then what is the right thing to do as a serious government, as a country that is serious about the citizens?
Yeah.
So can the government arrest the situation by saying, before we even find solution to this thing, okay, Fulani Riaras, just return to your place. Let us discuss as a country how we want to move forward. I was opportuned to work at the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Resources in Nigeria, where I was part of the National Livestock Transformation Plan. That is, those in charge of reviving the national grazing reserves.
Okay.
The conversation of this national grazing reserve, the thing don't start 80. Now, like even before 1960, they signed them into law. Even before I was born, now the time when they create all these grazing reserves with that. We went to all these grazing reserves in the northern part of the country. Sincerely, I got there, my heart bled for our country. The grazing reserves are there, but infrastructures are not there for over 35 years. Now, I am in no way, I will in no way support the Fulanis. Then I will in no way support the government for what is happening to us right now. We are not bereft of knowledge in Nigeria. We know what to do. We are intelligent people. If you get to the grazing reserves, I saw it myself. I was there. I walked there. If you get to the grazing reserves, you will discover that they use natural gradient of water. That is all this runoff water will be stream before for Niger. Or Barago go the for road. The rainwater go the run for road. They created national grazing reserves in such a way that it will collect the rainwater, automatically, just using the national gradient into a dam in the grazing reserve. Now, because of tree felling, that is climate change. For example, I was in Nasarawa, Doma local government area. There's a particular grazing reserve. So people were felling trees So when it rains now, the water doesn't go into the dam, but the water go carry sand, poto go inside the dam. But the dam will now become silted, that is filled with soil.
Yeah.
Now, cattle can spend some days without grass, but they can't spend a day without water. So these Fulani herdsmen were forced out of the grazing reserves. So it is a small mathematics. Can we put grass in the grazing reserves? Can we put exotic grass in the grazing reserves? Can we have ranching? Can we have paddock, whereby you have rotational grazing system and your animals will have grass throughout the year? So I feel that this is what the government should be talking about. And I want to call on Nigerians, everyone listening to this program this morning, we should be asking questions from our government. Let us ask those that are in charge of this grazing reserve project. I was there, I saw it. I saw politicians, they were rubbishing professors, they were rubbishing professionals because they have the liquidity, because the funds was in their hands. I have so many email exchange of all these processes. It bleeds my heart every day. So we can't say, I will never support the government on this, but I don't think a reasonable government or a president, if he's in charge of the country, we want to see the country go this way. So it is evident that the management of this situation might not even be in the hands of the president. So Nigerians need to ask questions. Who are those in charge? We should be asking those questions.
All right.
Oga Sipasi, talking about asking questions, some people don't come out and talk, say, these headers, they get a particular lifestyle. They be nomads, meaning say that they move from one place to the other. You don't talk, say, in the 21st century, the way when they take, they operate this thing, enough it work. But the behavior when person don't imbibe, or the way when in life they, it not go there very, very difficult for the person to move from one particular step to the other. If we talk, say, okay, oh, make we go back to where then go there one particular place, how we go take fit teach them, or how government go take fit make that behavior of say, okay, no need to the waka up and down. You feel there one particular place with all the infrastructure in place to see, say, you do your business and do the thing well. Is that possible at all?
So, Oga, this thing did very possible. We go one community for Plateau State. We reach the community, we go to the grazing reserve there. The simple question we asked the Fulani settlers in that particular community was, what do you need as a header to settle down? And it will shock you that even Fulani cattle rearers, they said they want their children to go to school. You know, so that is, they recognize the importance of education.
Yeah.
Now, in the National Grazing Reserves, the plan, I wish I could share that document. I have it. There is a plan in that document that, oh, we are going to have schools, there's going to be extension. The only reason why they are moving about is because they want to feed their cattle. And because of the kind of cattle we have in Nigeria, the white Fulanis, you know, they are our indigenous cattle, they need to exercise. So that means that when you have a paddock is having, I don't know how I was going to explain this thing. It's like having grasses in blocks. You're having grasses in blocks, then you move your animals there. The way you are moving your animals to that block, you know, you are exercising the animals. The animals need exercise, unlike the exotic cattle that you can just confine. So within the grazing reserves are not small lands. They run into maybe tens of thousands of acres of land. The first grazing reserve that was bought by the federal government of Nigeria was in 1980. It was 2.3 million hectares. Not acres, 2.3 million hectares. So we have that resources. All we need to do is, how can we intensify grass production? Now, exotic cattle might not be able to survive well here. However, there should be a call to our scientists. How can we crossbreed our local white Fulani cattle to Austin Friesians? So now, imagine this problem will not be able to get solved. An average Austin Friesian will produce about 60 liters of milk per day. I say that again. An average Austin Friesian, we produce 60 liters of milk per day. An average white Fulani, the one we have in Nigeria, because they are dual purpose cattle, we produce about 2 liters of milk per day. So now, for us to get to even 60 liters in a day, that means that we need so many cattle to do 60 liters per day. That is, we need about 30 cattle to do 60 liters per day. So the only thing we can do is that Austin Friesian is exotic to us. It might not survive in Nigeria. But one of the things we can do is that let us crossbreed. So where are our scientists? So when we crossbreed, those cattle might not be able to walk the distance the white Fulanis are walking right now. That is making them walk all the way from the north to the south because they won't have the strength to do that. They will conserve their energy, have high utilization of their forage, and produce more milk for our country. So I think we have a systemic problem in Nigeria, which needs to be addressed. And the only thing I will continue to say, who are those in charge of this particular project? I know those that are in charge, and what is their qualification? What have they achieved? Is it by going to Israel to go and see what they do 4 times in a year with their family members and they come back to discuss, they lodge in the hotel, they discuss about how fancy it was, what they can do in Nigeria, and they will travel again. That is not what we need. We need implementation. And again, whatever we see in the developed countries might not work for us directly. So there must be what I call local content initiative. So if we cannot, bring our own solution to whatever we have seen, that solution will never be sustainable.
Okay, so, this clear thing where you don't talk, so a lot of people don't even know, say, we get these grazing reserves where they talk about. They don't even believe, say, those kinds of things even they exist. Because as you don't talk now, I believe a lot of people say, that kind of thing, we they suffer ourselves. If you talk, say, over 2-point-something million hectares of land, they use for the first grazing reserve. And according to your conversation, you talk, say, a lot of them are not functional because infrastructure not there. Now, if these things don't day in place a long time ago till now, waiting you feel, say, be the way forward, knowing the fact, say, we get this land where we suppose they use for this thing. Government, probably they use them the right way, and the headers, as you talk, you even speak to some of them and they say they won't go school. What do you think is the next act of action from the government and from the headers or from the farmers where you feel, say, suppose make all this whole situation take settle at least? What do you mean needs to be the next act of action where we suppose get?
So there is a sense of urgency. There should be a sense of urgency in addressing this issue. So I feel that the issue is even now more than the federal government of Nigeria.
Okay.
So I feel one thing we can do is that we need to go to the communities.
Okay.
Go to the rural communities, the northern communities, have a community meeting. And there should be a rapid multiplication of exotic high fiber forage in Nigeria. So without that, nothing can be done. Do you know how many animals we have in Nigeria roaming that country? Imagine how will the government call them back? Anytime we wake up in the morning, Nigerians in diasporas, it's always one bad news to another. And we continue to ask ourselves, can this country even get better? What can we do? So there should be a sense of urgency. There should be a sense of urgency, high intensification of forage production. It is very necessary. Then there should be a call to development organizations, to institutions, places like IITA and stuff like that, to help us develop forage, the seed of forage that is going to grow fast and have high utilization rate for our cattle. I think that is just where to start. It is a mess right now. If we are not saying it, it is a mess right now.
All right. Thank you very much, Oga Sipasi. You don't give us better breakdown, well-detailed breakdown of this situation, and you don't give us insights on the things we Nigeria need to do to settle this matter once and for at least it will be a start in a step in the right direction. Oga, thank you very much for joining us to top the show this morning. I believe you'll get a great day ahead of you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
All right.